here commercial fishing for big Asian carp. We're at Peoria Lake, upper Illinois. We're probably 100 miles up the river from Mississippi. We either fish for big heads or nothing. Where's the sniper looking around for them? There's something jumping back there now. There you go. 5 or 6 years ago, you got here to see 40, 50 acres up at a time. You could already run a motor through it, maybe the schools are some massive. The jumper is a silver big head, and the one we're going to try to catch mostly is a black big head. He's the one that's on the bottom that nobody sees. They're just having a hard time getting anybody to pay any money for them. They don't want to pay much for them. They think they're cheap fish, there's so many of them. I've been giving a lot of them away. Everybody I give one to says they like them. You smoke them, they're real good. The big black ones are. I don't know about the silvers. You skin them and, and cut them up in small pieces.
We've been in business since 1955. Sales-wise, we handle over 20 million pounds of fish a year. We're all freshwater fish from the Mississippi and Illinois River and lakes out of Minnesota and Wisconsin. In the Great Flood of '93, when the dikes broke in Mississippi and Arkansas, large numbers of these fish were released into the river systems. This year we see a lot of small Asian carp not very far from here, within 20 miles of here. They are definitely migrating. Last year we handled over 12 million pounds of Asian carp alone. It's readily available 52 weeks a year to our customers.
These carp are able to eat a lot per day, probably 40% of their body weight, and they eat plankton. But this is a food source for many fish. And so by reproducing very rapidly, they're able to overpopulate in an area and really crowd out the other fish. This right here, Curtis Current, more than 40 of these beams all the way across the bottom of the canal. The width of the canal is 160 feet. We're able to create electrical field inside of the canal, while at the same time allowing navigation. And as fish approach from downstream into the electrical field, initially they just feel a little tingle. And if they continue to try to come through the electrical field, it's stronger. At some point, most fish will be stunned and float back downstream. This is 33 miles away from Lake Michigan. So this is one tool only now, and this is one location.
I've been a chef for about 20 years. Been here for 3 years now, here at the Palmer House, about 1 block away from Lake Michigan. We're trying to keep Asian carp out of the lake, and I'm trying to do my small part by putting them on our menu and trying to eat them out of existence. So what we're doing is we're starting here with a little bit of olive oil, adding a little bit of chopped garlic to it, add a little bit of tomato sauce to that. Just today, for the first time, we got in a minced product from Schafer Fisheries, so we're just going to add that in. Asian carp, Shanghai bass, bolognese may not sell very well, but then you call it a seafood bolognese and we might be onto something. If this fish does get into the Great Lakes, if it continues to destroy the water system as it has, we better look into making a market for this thing as a food source now, once again trying to bring you a community service by putting Asian carp onto your plate.